အခုချိန်စပြီးတော့နောက်ထပ်ကျွန်တော်တို့အထူးဖိတ်ကြားရတဲ့ဧည့်သည်ဖြစ်တဲ့ Miss Kerry Wright ကနေမြန်မာနိုင်ငံမှာရှိတဲ့နိုင်ငံရေးအကျဉ်းသားတွေနဲ့မြန်မာအခြေအနေတွေကိုသူတွေ့ကြုံခံစားခဲ့သမျှအကုန်လုံးရှင်းပြဖို့ရှိပါတယ် Mrs. Kerry Wright is an advocate for human rights and democracy in Burma as well. She's worked very hard for Burma cause. She always available to talk about Burma issues at every venues in Sydney or somewhere else in Australia. We work with Kerry Wright for many years. Kerry, please come here to talk about Burma issues.
Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. Look, I'm not very important in this story at all. Burma is and the Burmese people are. The only reason I'm standing here is because I'm a voice. And a voice is very useful. I generally work with the Tibetans. I work in India. And about 4 weeks ago we were 45 Burmese people, 4 of them freedom fighters, were sitting in His Holiness's garden waiting for him to arrive back from a conference about his own death. A 4-day conference discussing what would happen when he died. When he came back he was very exhausted, but he took his time and spoke very passionately, and he spoke about how he is in constant contact with his sister Aung San Suu Kyi. And he also said many things. We are all freedom fighters. It will not be easy, he said, looking straight into my eyes. And I think it really hit me that it's very easy to believe that change is happening in Burma. It's very easy to get excited. When I was in Burma in June, I understood that nothing had changed. It was horrible, quite frankly. Beautiful to be there, beautiful to see so many beautiful people connecting with their eyes and their hearts. But the situation in Burma was horrible. It was literally like a nation run by alien reptiles. What's my role in this? It's very simple. My role is a voice. In Australia, Burma has good press, but it's not necessarily always accurate. For example, the stupid travel article that came out about a year and a half ago. You know, go to Burma because Aung San Suu Kyi says it's fine now to go. My role, I guess, as a troublemaker is to write letters when things are inaccurate, but more than that is I speak to people every day. I'm just an ordinary Australian who speaks to people every day. There are enough people in this room if everybody spoke to 20, 30 people a day about Burma. And I, of course, speak about Tibet every day. There are enough people here to create a revolution within Australia, but I think we should be more effective about the way that we work. And it's very important to get some speaking confidence into the young people. And one of the things I do in India is teach public speaking to the women and the students and the teachers. In Burma, we've had the message for years from Aung San Suu Kyi, unity, education, non-violence, and this has worked and brought things to a point. But watching the BBC report the other day, I realised, no, people still think that tiny things are big changes, and they're not. I think the Burma Vice President, when he claimed to Senator John McCain that there were no political prisoners, that pretty much said it all. But instead of feeling depressed about the tricks and overwhelmed and suspicious about the betrayals, I personally think that in Australia we should work more actively to get all of my generation, all of this generation educated for free in the 1970s, to get them up and rocking for Burma is part of my task in the next couple of months, I feel. I truly think that, you know, we can thank everybody that's working really hard for Burma, and they're achieving great things, but the bottom line is we need the whole of the Australian grassroots population to fully understand that Burma needs help. And also for the Burmese people, I think there's about 15,000 Burmese people in Australia. Instead of the Burmese campaign always struggling for funds, if every Burmese person in Australia put in $1 per head per week, you'd have $15,000, a great budget to work with. I think laterally. So when I went into Burma, I visited Ponda U, the school at Mandalay, and spoke to Unayaka. And I took him in some fresh materials because there are 7,000 children there being taught in Burmese and English and thinking skills, which involves also communication, conflict resolution and so forth. I say to people there are a million small things that can be done for Burma, but one of them is to absolutely insist on the release of political prisoners. Now, the political prisoners, we know it's a fraught situation full of misnomers, tricks, terrible treatment inside. I work with the Burmese, with the Tibetans. What they face is unbelievable and so vicious. It's just mind-boggling in the 21st century that this nonsense continues. However, we have to deal with it. We have to deal with people of a completely different consciousness and to be effective in it. When I was in Burma, I didn't meet with Aung San Suu Kyi. I actually travelled around and talked to people very quietly, and many people spoke from their hearts. I also took mail in for some of the saffron monks, and political monks are terribly important. Tibet knows that. I don't mean the tragic 12 that set fire to themselves in the last 3 or 4 months in desperation. I mean the monks who understand that Buddhism is the freedom to practice your religion and the freedom for a country to decide its own future. I think the Burmese monks in New York, for example, are doing a massive job at the universities all over America, and I support them 100% totally. Amnesty International, the Burma campaigns, the support of politicians. Burma has so many supporters, but I think we can probably get more involved and get more accurate in the press. And as far as the political prisoners go, I mean, you know, I was reading today because I got very short notice about speaking, and I looked at all the different names. The Free Zagana campaign was very effective. The film was very moving. We raised $1,000, as Philip knows, showing the Zagana film, and we were able to take 45 Burmese people from Delhi up to Dharamsala for 3 days. Next year we're going to have them up there for 5. You know, there's so many small things that communities in Australia can do, but on the whole, Australians are pretty dumb, pretty asleep. Not really. When they wake up, they're incredibly loyal, as I am, and committed, but you have to wake them up. They have to be spoken to. They have to have information right in their face, and accurate information. I think the biggest thing is to get people to realise change isn't really happening. It's potentially happening, baby steps, one tiny step at a time, but there is a lot to be done because your political prisoners are the basis for your future. Their status, their recognition for all that they have sacrificed, for their courage, whether it's 5 monks, whether it's a woman standing up in a marketplace, no matter what it is. These people have put their lives on the line, and they deserve, when they come out, the proper process of international assistance and recognition. And I think Australia is a major player in this. I know that people look at what's happening with America and so forth and are questioning. The Tibetans, one monk was so angry in my class a few months ago, and he said, "I feel like the world just keeps betraying us." And it does look like that, and I can understand that. But I know from my side there are many, many people who passionately support the cause of Burma, the people of Burma, because you have the most beautiful country. And what I saw inside of it was horrible. And the fact that the people have no say in it is just diabolical. There are small signs of change. Let's all hope and pray that we can keep at it enough and maybe organise some massive events in Australia where people really wake up to the real situation in Burma. Somebody said to me today, "Look, Tibet's finished. They should just learn Chinese, get on with it, do whatever they have to do to stay alive. It's gone." I thought, don't tell that to a Tibetan. The Tibetans will never be Chinese. There are 6 million of them. They're looking at how to maintain their population. The women have to have children in exile because there's forced sterilisation, apart from killing, in Tibet. Don't tell a Tibetan that they should become Chinese. It's not going to happen until the day they die. They will never give up. That's His Holiness' influence. And there is always another wave, and there is always the unexpected. For me, my message to you is, if one tiny little person can make a difference, and I'm 5 foot tall, I'm just an old retired school teacher, if one person can be as active as I can, there's a lot of other people in Australia that if you can wake them up, will help you and help these brave people who deserve to be the future leaders or among the future leaders for Burma. I love your country and I truly feel it's an honour to be associated with Burma. Thank you.